Right now?
I want to do it right now. I bet they asked you last night, but I was sitting there right now. They didn't ask me that. They asked everybody.
Hold on.
There's two ones. The one that says Somerset?
Instructor Bruno.
Ugh.
I don't think that's the instructor.
That says Portugal. That right
I don't know.
This is still ahead.
All right. If you have not received an invitation to the group yet, just send me a message and then I'll add you, okay? I'll put it this way. Close this way. Is that okay? If it gets too cold, then I'll close it completely. Okay? I don't want anybody passing out here, so. All right, so real quick, guys, this is a short chapter, but it should run at least 5 minutes over 10 o'clock, okay? Just today. Ready? Commission rules and regulations. Now, a lot of stuff in this chapter we already went over in the previous chapter, or we're going to go in detail in tomorrow's chapter. Okay? Anthony, is that you?
I'm trying to, yes, log into your phone.
We charge $5 per ring, okay? All right.
Checks?
Sure.
Okay.
You guys don't trust me that it's a short chapter? You have to count the pages?
Oh,
Next. You know what? You just made it 10. License law and rules. Both license law and the commission rules set standards for licensees. Most of the obligations fall on the broker. We already know this, with the understanding that a broker is responsible for a salesperson's observance of the rules. A salesperson may not accept any form of compensation from his or her supervising broker. Don't we know this already? Yes. A salesperson, we're going to talk about it in a second, may not maintain an escrow account or hold funds belonging to others. And a salesperson may not work for more than one New Jersey broker at a time. What's that face for? You cannot work for more than one New Jersey broker at a time. What does that mean? How many brokers can you work for?
One.
Did you hear my question? One in New Jersey. You can work for 50 brokers in the United States or 200 and something brokers across the world. Totally up to you. But in New Jersey, only one at a time. You want to work for a Remax brokerage? Then that's the agency you represent. You want to work for a Weicker? You have to leave Remax in order to work for Weicker. Okay? Next it says place of business. Now, under place of business, we're going to talk about the main office and we're going to talk about branch offices. The rules are very similar. But in the main office, it says every broker who is a resident of New Jersey must maintain a place of business in the state. Question. Do broker salespeople needs to maintain a place of business? No. Broker salespeople do not. So here, I want you to point out one thing. Every time you see broker, you're going to write broker of record. Because if it's a broker salesperson, they will specifically say so. Okay? If you see broker by itself, broker salesperson, broker of record, I'm sorry, always. Okay? Put a note there. Good? Next, because they force you to open up an office, to have a place of business, right? The real estate commission is a little lenient about where that place of business is. They allow you to have your place of business in your own home, so you don't have the expense of opening up an office. You got it? But there's a rule to that, and the rule is very simple. You must have a separate area with its own entrance visible from the street. Okay? So you could be in your house, completely separate area. Your living room cannot be the waiting room. Simple as that. Don't mix things, okay? The office can never be in the home of a broker's associates. And the broker's name and the words licensed real estate broker must be conspicuously displayed on the exterior. Why is this important?
So they know who to sue.
So they know who to sue, exactly. All right? So before I get into your business, place of business, right? You guys are salespeople, you're not the brokers. So before I get into your place of business, I must see and know who to sue in case you screw up. Okay? Because we're human. Are we going to make mistakes?
Yes.
Absolutely. You got it? Except for me, but everybody else could. You never know. All right? So very important. The broker must be conspicuously displayed on the exterior. Next. Page 12. It says the main office and the persons working in it must be under the full-time direct supervision of either a broker or qualified broker salesperson. So either your broker of record is present or they have a qualified broker salesperson appointed to help you out if you have questions. Okay? The office cannot be unattended when agents are there. Because if you have a question, who's going to help you? Does that make sense? So somebody qualified must be there. And you're probably going to say, oh, the other agent's going to help me.
Google.
Google's going to help me. Right? Easy. No. Because somebody must be responsible for how they guide you. If another salesperson gives you advice and something goes wrong, you go like, oh, he told me or she told me. Do you think they're going to get in trouble? No. You are and your broker is. You got it? The broker is always responsible for you. Branch office starts with exactly the same thing. It says that it must be under direct full-time supervision of a broker or broker salesperson. Additionally, the names of all licensees in the branch office and the branch office supervisor must be recorded with the real estate commission and prominently displayed in the branch along with the office license. So what we're saying here is very simple. This is our main office. This is our branch office. The main office holds everybody's licenses because this broker is responsible for everybody. You got it? The branch office holds only the licenses of the people that work here. They're not going to hold everybody's licenses. You guys got it?
Nope.
What? No? Main office, branch office. All the licenses are here with the broker of record. Branch office, only the people working here must have their license displayed and notified with the real estate commission, registered with real estate commission. That's all it is. Okay, so main office is responsible for all the licenses. Branch office is responsible for the people that work there. That's the bottom line. Okay? Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Now we slow down. Trust accounts. Have you guys ever heard of trust or escrow accounts?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what are trust or escrow accounts? Actually, hold on, Melissa.
No, just fixing my hair. Sorry.
Well, you work at a bank, so you should know.
You work on a bank too?
I know, but she doesn't give me attitude. Go ahead. Who knows? I'll let you read. Who knows what trust or escrow account is?
Well, I know it relates to rent, like if you don't want to pay or if something happened, you can hold it in this account to like secure it, so you have it in case of emergency.
Scam artists, right? If you don't want to pay rent, you put it aside. That's what it is.
If something is happening, they can.
Oh, okay, something is happening. So we'll talk more about that in chapter 12, which is all about rentals. And yes, if there's a problem, you put in a separate account. That's what an escrow account is. It's a third-party account to hold other people's money. Okay? So every time you see trust or escrow account, you guys all right? Every time you see trust or escrow account, we're talking about holding other people's money. I want you guys to write here. OPM, my favorite drug, always.
Oh.
What were you thinking? Other people's money. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's her department.
That's her department? Other people's money?
Mm-hmm.
I think every bank is that department.
Right?
Because they hold it, not naughty by nature, okay? Different type of OP. Terrible. These people. All right. It says right here that a broker must establish a separate special trust account, also known as escrow account, in an authorized financial institution in New Jersey, to be used for deposit of all money belonging to other persons. So earnest money deposit, rent collections, and the like. What happens is when you put an offer on the property, you usually give a check called earnest money or good faith deposit. That check must be deposited in a separate account because it's not the broker's money, it's not the salesperson's money, and it's not the seller's money yet. So it's put into a separate account just in case we close or in case we don't close. Okay? What happened?
No, I'm remembering things from those 3 weeks. Those things are starting to make sense.
Starting to make sense now? Okay. So, 3 weeks as an assistance. That's why the money was going to the broker's account, right? Anyway, the name of the financial institution and the account number must be reported to the commission, both at license application and at time of renewal. So even the broker has to renew his license, the real estate license, and notify the commission every time where the money is. If there's any changes in the account, all that good stuff, right? We don't need to keep a separate account for every single transaction, but we need to keep good books to know which money belongs to whom. Next, the account must be clearly labeled, so it cannot be claimed by creditors in the event of bankruptcy or by heirs in the event of the broker's death. Why? Because the money does not belong to the brokerage. It belongs to other people. Okay? Now it says here that brokers are required to deposit funds coming into their keeping promptly, which the commission defines as within 5 business days. Please highlight. Double highlight. Underline, double underline, triple underline, stars, arrows, bubbles, whatever you have to put. But it's 5 business days.
I'm sorry, I was slow.
We're talking about depositing the money in her department, other people's money.
So when you receive money from either a deal that was closed, recently closed, so it must be deposited into within 5 business days. Is that what you said?
Wait, I'll put it like this. Melissa, I'm going to give you $10,000 right now, not for you, for the purchase of this building. What must you do with that money?
Deposit it into 5 business days into the
Escrow by 5 days.
What?
Give it to your broker.
Say it louder.
Give it to your broker.
Oh, as a salesperson. Okay, as a salesperson.
Exactly. You're salespeople.
Okay.
You have to pay attention to the questions. You're salespeople. Unless it says that you're the broker, can you deposit, can you handle the escrow account?
Yes. Oh, wait, if you the broker?
No, unless it says you're the broker. Can you?
No.
No. You got it? So what they say is that salespeople should immediately give that money to the broker. You guys got it?
Yes.
Why is this important?
Because it has to be deposited.
Of your acceptance. You receive the money, salespeople, the broker received the money.
Okay.
If you take 5 business days to give it to the broker, then how many days do they have to deposit? You got it? It's very simple. As soon as you receive the money, treat it like hot potato. Get rid of it. Give it right away to the broker. Especially if they give you cash on a Friday. All right? Atlantic City is right around, forget Atlantic City. Parks Casino, right? We don't go to Atlantic City anymore. Anyway. You guys got it? Yes?
Yeah.
Next. You guys are going to learn Chinese today. Ready? It says brokers are specifically prohibited from commingling, great Chinese word which means mixing, right? Their own funds with money in the trust account. I'm sorry?
This is why they opened the escrow account.
That's why you open the escrow account. So you don't mix. You're looking for the Chinese word?
I'm like, this is a real word, like I couldn't do it.
It is. Commingling, right? Right there. Which means mixing, okay? So that's the direct translation from Chinese to English. You'll never forget it, I swear. Right, Ally?
It sounds like
Says the Japanese. Sounds like Chinese. She's hiding behind the, like Melissa's looking for you.
Oh, God.
We keep the Japanese in the corner, that's why. All right, question. You have 5 business days to deposit the money. Do all transactions go through? No. All right, so if a transaction does not go through, $75. If a transaction does not go through, another $75. I'm making a lot of money tonight, right? Anthony already owes me a bunch of money. Like how many rings? Jeez. Make sure your phones are on silent every time, please. Huh? Oh, it's Siri. iPhones. Doesn't matter if they're on silent, they still bother you. Now, where was I going? So,
If the deal doesn't go through.
you can sue me. If you guys don't like iPhones, you can sue me. It's fine. If the deal does not go through, what must you do?
So you.
Sue. Get the money back. Guess how many days you have to get the money back? 5 business days as well. It's 5 business days going in, 5 business days coming out. All right? Now, Melissa, I said I gave you $10,000 cash, didn't I?
You didn't, you said that, but you didn't.
I didn't? Everybody saw it, right? I gave $10,000 cash towards the purchase of this building. Okay? You must give me a written receipt that you have received the money. And because it's over $10,000, it must be reported to the IRS. You got it? It says right here. Now, if the transaction did not go through, you must return the money, as I said. It's my money, it's not yours. You must return the money. But I gave you cash. Therefore, you should give me cash, correct? No. A check made out to cash. Right?
No.
No. Made out to the specific person. Please circle, put stars, never to cash.
Made out to cash.
Because a lot of people write the check and say cash. That means you can go cash it out anywhere. How does that prove that the money that came out of the escrow account was for that person and that transaction? You guys got it? So the check must be made out to you, to your name.
I never actually see one, but
You've never seen a check?
okay.
Or $10,000? I mean, one or the other.
No, never actually seen a check that's made out to cash.
Never?
No.
You work in the bank?
Yeah. I never see that.
You work like in the back or something? Okay, that's fine. All right.
Not to a client, not in real estate.
Huh?
Not in real estate.
No, there's a lot of people that pay cash. A lot of people. All right.
Not in.
Permanent records. Next. Permanent records. It says every broker must keep records of trust account activity for 6 years. Great. Regulation of documents. We have sales contracts. Every person who signs a listing contract, sales contract, or lease should immediately receive a duplicate original of the documents. What does that mean? It's not copies of the signed documents. It's several copies of the unsigned copy, so everybody signs multiple times. If there's 10 people in the transaction, then there's 10 wet signatures in every single contract. You guys got it? It's not we sign one and make copies for everybody. It's each one signs the 10 documents. Okay? Next, commissions are negotiable between the client and the broker. Make sure you underline. Commissions are negotiable between the client and the broker. No contract can contain anything prescribing or indicating a prescribed fee schedule. So, quick question. What is the standard commission in New Jersey? 6? 6%, 6,000? It depends.
Five.
Depends on negotiation.
It depends on negotiation. Commissions are negotiable. There's no standard, and in fact, no contract can state that it's standard. More, if you're listing, the listing agreement must contain this. that says as a seller, you have the right to negotiate, right? To individually reach the agreement on any fee, commission, or valuable consideration. There's no standard. What is common, what most people know, is 5 or 6% commission, right? But it's not a set fee. It's what's been acceptable in our society. You guys got it? Got it. Okay. Next. Licensees can prepare sales contracts only for 1 to 4 family homes and single building lots. 1 to 4 family homes and single building lots. So, does this mean we cannot be part of contracts that are commercial, industrial, 5 units or more? Is that what it means? No. It just means we don't prepare those contracts. If it's a 1 to 4 family, we have standard contracts. Because there's a lot of single families. There's a lot of 2s, there's a lot of 3s and 4 families. You got it? So they created a standard contract. Beyond that, how many 5 units do you see? 6 units, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many? But you don't see as many as single, 2, 3s, or 4s. So for that reason, anything beyond the 4 units, so if it's 5 or more, what we prepare is called letter of intent. And then the attorneys prepare contracts. Okay? 1 to 4 family, we prepare the contract. 5 or more, commercial or industrial, attorneys prepare. We prepare a letter of intent. Guess what?
What about if you have a multi-dwelling, like you have 4 apartments and a retail downstairs? Would that apply to that as well?
That's mixed use.
Yes,
Now it's a 5 unit then.
okay,
If you have 4 plus 1 is 5.
okay.
All right? So now it
But now
applies.
residential and commercial, it's a multi-dwelling.
Then it's not something normal. So attorneys prepare.
Okay.
Okay? Next.
Before you move on, sorry. So a 4 family, quote unquote, that has a commercial unit on the first floor, we can prepare or we need an intent?
Letter of intent.
So once it's mixed use, even if it's one-on-one, we need.
It's a
letter of
mixed use.
intent.
Yep. We are entitled to prepare, as it said here,
So only residential, 1 to 4 family.
1 to 4 family residential homes. That's it.
And single building lot.
If it's just 1 lot.
Oh.
If it's multiple lots or tracts of lots of land, then attorneys prepare contracts as well. We only prepare letter of intent. Okay? Which is literally just the offer. My client intends to offer X amount of dollars. If the seller entertains, then contracts are prepared by attorneys. In fact, right here on page 13, says the commission requires that all sales contracts prepared by licensees contain an attorney review clause giving the buyer and seller the right to consult an attorney who may disapprove of the contract within,
3 days.
I'm sorry?
3 business days?
A little bit better. 3 business days. Make sure you guys circle or underline, double underline business. Okay? 3 business days. That means you put an offer, the offer is accepted, 3 business days start counting. And that's to dispute the terms of the contract. After the 3 business days, if nobody initiates the dispute, then it's binding. We'll talk more about this as we go. Next paragraph says, all written offers must be forwarded to sellers within 24 hours. And at the time of listing, which we'll talk about later as well, owners of the property must be furnished with a copy of the Attorney General Memorandum of Law Against Discrimination. Okay? Next it says, New Jersey Supreme Court has ruled that buyers and sellers, look what it says, buyers and sellers of residential real estate may choose whether or not to incur the costs of hiring a lawyer. So it's not required for residential 1 to 4 and single building lots. It's not required to have an attorney. Anything beyond this scope requires an attorney, and what we prepare is letter of intent. Again, okay? Where it says other documents, it says the broker must keep copy of all unaccepted offers to purchase for 6 months from the date of the initial offer. How long do we have to keep the offers? Did you hear what I said? How long do you have to keep the offers? The offers.
6 months.
Just unaccepted offers. 6 months. If they've been accepted, guys, it becomes a contract. Permanent records we keep for 6 years. And I'm sorry, I don't know if I did give you the heads up, but I'm going to trick you all the way. Because guess what the state exam does? Tricks you. All right? So I'm going to show you how you guys have to pay attention to what it's being asked. So unaccepted offers, 6 months. Accepted offers are contracts. So therefore, permanent records, 6 years. It gets easier as we go, so don't worry about it. Ready? Here where it says broker business relationships, we're going to skip most of it because tomorrow we're going to have a whole day just on business relationships, agency. All right? So what I want you to do on the right-hand side is just highlight this where it says broker's obligation. We're not going to go in detail, but broker's obligation is to put the principal's interest first, however, still requires fair and honest dealing with other parties. I'll explain better tomorrow, chapter 3, okay? Right above waiver of broker cooperation, it says to give sellers, and this you need to know, put stars around this, to give sellers the best service possible. You're lost? You're at 18 Oliver Street from Suite 302, Newark, New Jersey. To give sellers, it's right above waiver of broker cooperation. To give sellers the best service possible, the commission expects brokers to cooperate with other firms that may want to show listed property. So what we're saying is, this is Remax, and we have a Remax listing. Weichert, you guys want to bring a buyer to see the Remax listing. Can I say no because you are Weichert and we're Remax? No. Unless the seller said, nope, keep it in-house. If the seller said, nope, keep it in-house, then they must sign this waiver that pretty much says, I understand, doing what I'm doing is going to take my property to sell, like, I don't know, maybe a year, 2 years, maybe never. If it does sell, it might sell for a lower price. I totally understand, but keep it in-house, guys. Do not share with them. So the seller would have to say it.
Why would someone do that? Is there any benefit?
Well,
It's just a preference, basically.
everybody has
Got it. Okay.
their reasons. I only had one person ever ask me that. And the reason was the sister was a realtor. Or is, I'm not sure. And at closing, you get to see how much the net amount came to the seller. So imagine your sister, I don't know if you have a sister, but imagine your sister, your brother, your cousin, anybody that's family or friends, seeing you netting $183,000. That's what this person was going to make, $183,000 net. All right? I don't know how your brothers and sisters are, or family or friends, but I make $100 on a scratch off. They ask for $5K. You know what I'm saying? So the idea behind this person's mentality was, I don't want her to see how much I'm making. That's why I didn't list with my sister. That's why I'm not telling her that I'm selling until it's done.
Yeah, but if her sister's a realtor, I'm pretty sure she.
What?
Has an
After
idea.
closing, we're done, right?
Yeah.
So sister, could you lend to me, please?
No. I'm pretty sure she has an idea how much the sister was gonna get.
No. Okay, so hold on. Not always, because I can owe 500,000, sell the property for 550. How much am I making? Right? If I have no expenses, I'm making 50. In this case, she had paid off most of the mortgage, and the property went up in value. So how much was she going to make? 183,000. There's no way for you, outsider, to know how much I'm making. Only at closing with the HUD documents or the closing documents. All right? But anyway, she knows her sister. I'm not saying that every sister and every brother is like that. But she knows her sister, and that was her feeling, that if my sister sees how much I'm making, she's going to ask for money. So the answer was, everybody has their reasons. Okay? All right, next page, where it says broker and buyer as a principal. For now, just highlight. Tomorrow we're going to go in detail. So next page, where it says broker and buyer as a principal. Just highlight. You guys ready? Yes, no, maybe?
I'm ready.
It depends. There's moments for everything. So, broker as a disclosal agent. Just for now, just highlight exactly as it is, with the same colors as well. Ready? You guys good? Great. Where it says broker is a transaction broker. Broker is a transaction broker. At the bottom. Highlight exactly as it is here. Again, tomorrow we're going to go in detail. That's why for now it's just quick highlighting and moving forward. Everybody good?
Yep.
Great. Broker and salesperson. Before a salesperson can begin working for a sponsoring broker, a written broker salesperson independent contractor agreement must be drawn. So if you're going to work somewhere, you should know exactly how much you're going to make, correct? So before you work for the broker, they prepare this agreement. And the first thing that's written there is the split. What are you getting? Some agencies 50-50, some agencies 60-40, and so on. Some agency offer you 100%. That's great, isn't it? But how does an agency survive if they pay you 100%?
How they charge you?
Fees, monthly fees. All right? So if you're not ready, I'm not saying that they're bad agencies. What I'm saying is, if you're not ready for monthly fees, don't go for that. 100% commission is great, but 100% of nothing is. And I told you I have some students that became agents and have not made one single transaction. So imagine paying for 2-3 years monthly fees. What's the point? All right? So right up front, it tells you what you're supposed to pay. Number 2, it says a broker's promise to turn over monies due to the salesperson within 10 days after commission is received or soon thereafter the check is cleared. So we close today. This is calendar days, by the way. We close today. You can mark on your calendar. Anybody still has like a wall calendar? All right, cool. So if you still have it, we mark on the calendar. If not, then you have Google Calendar. I think Siri also has something. Anyway, you put on the Google Calendar a big alert saying payday today. You got it? 10 days. That's it. Maximum. Some brokers pay same day. Some brokers 1 or 2 days later. Some have specific dates, like on Thursdays is when they clear the checks. You guys got it? So be ready for all this. Number 3, I call this the prenup clause. Does anybody know what a prenup is? All right. Notice that only the lady said, guys were quiet, right? All right, so ladies. They're like, please don't ask. I see their face. Ladies, what is a prenup clause?
Protects your money.
It protects what?
Money.
For assets.
It's an agreement. That's all I wanted you to say. But you went straight for money. You see how it is? He's thinking twice now. All right. So here's the thing. It's an agreement. Literally, here's what a prenup is. It's, I love you. I want to stay with you forever. But just in case we don't, let's figure out now so divorce is a lot easier later on. Right? I call it a prenup because that's what this clause is. I really love you, broker. And broker says, I really love you, agent. We're going to be together forever. Right? But if you ever leave, says the broker, instead of paying you 70, 80, 90, 100%, I'm paying you 25% of all the transactions that stay behind. Some brokers just pay 0 when you leave. And that's why you don't leave that agency. You're stuck until everything closes. And if you don't have another means of income, you're going to have to find a new deal to put in. And it keeps on going, and you never leave the agency. You guys got it? So make sure when you read, what happened? You trapped. That's it. So make sure when you read these agreements, this is just a heads up, always look for this. Figure out if you have to leave the agency, right? If you have to leave the agency, how much will you lose? You got it? Every agency has different rules regarding this. Advertising, and we're almost over. Do you think there should be rules about how you advertise and what you advertise? Absolutely. In fact, these were created, right, to let the public know exactly with whom they're dealing. These laws were created to let the public know exactly with whom they're dealing. It says right here that the regulations cover all media, including publications, broadcasts, stationery, business cards, email, web pages, and I want you guys to write also social media. Why is social media so important? Because nowadays, more houses are sold on Facebook and Instagram than in person. You put something on Facebook, virtual tours or whatever, and people say, I want it. If you don't do that, if your advertisement is flyers, you're done. You don't reach the masses. Unfortunately, most people browse online first. According to RealtyTrack.com, 83% of all purchases nowadays are done online first. Like they review online, Trulia, Zillow, Facebook, all these mediums, right? Before they reach out to the agent. You guys got it? So you got to have a strong online presence. For you to have a strong online presence, you need to remember one thing. You don't represent yourself. You represent the broker. So let's talk about the broker first. It says right here, all ads by the broker must indicate the broker's business name, followed by the terms such as realtor, realtist, real estate broker, or real estate agency. The licensee's name must appear exactly as it is on the license, with the exception of any middle name or initial which should not be used. But you can add the nickname. Okay? So, for instance, there's a lot of people that their name is, for instance, Joseph, but they go by Joe, right? Your name must appear exactly as it is on the license, right? So let's say Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith must be there. Can he be Joseph Joe Smith? Absolutely. You guys got it? You can put your nickname there. Just be careful, whatever nickname you guys have might not be that popular with clients. All right, so careful. Huh? Say it loud. Sweet candy. Mm-hmm. What was yours? Say it again. That's your nickname?
Nah.
Oh. Anyway. What was yours again?
Sweet candy. I
Sweet
didn't come up with the other part.
Sweet candy.
Hi, my name is Sweet Candy. Would you like to sell or buy? Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna go. I guess it all depends on the client.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said. You You'll be a blast at Halloween, yeah? All right. Salespeople. An ad that includes a salesperson's name must also include the name of the real estate company in larger type or more prominently. Remember, you're sponsored by your broker, so you cannot advertise yourself alone. All your advertisement must include your brokerage name. Okay? Yes? Great. The salesperson's full first and last name must be used, and you can also add sweet candy to it.
I don't know why does it say the broker or the real estate agent
So I die.
I'm sorry? Where?
the broker or the real estate agency name,
Where are you?
right after,
Okay, right here.
yeah.
So it just says you're a realtor, or a realtist, real estate broker, or the real estate agency. All your advertisement must include one of these. Okay, so if you're advertising as the agency, then it must include that you're an agency. If you're the broker, then it must state that you are the broker. So all our advertisements must include the agency. Sorry, can I see the other question?
What's the reason for excluding middle names and initials?
No, it just says that it doesn't need to be used.
But you can.
You can. It needs not be used. It's not needed, but you can. Okay?
If you have a simple name, you want to differentiate yourself.
I'm sorry?
If you have a simple name and you choose to differentiate yourself, you can add the middle
No,
name.
absolutely. What they're saying is that it's not required for you to do so.
Okay.
Okay? But can you put your full name? Sure. Not a problem. All right, page 15. It says all ads must specify the property's municipal location. All ads, Melissa to Earth. All ads must specify property's municipal location, specifically named in the ad or the head of the column in which the ad appears. So, if your property is located, the property listing is located in Newark, then you must state that it's in Newark. Okay? And such phrases as vicinity of are prohibited unless the body of the ad also includes the exact municipal location. So there's a lot of people that advertise, hey, vicinity of Elizabeth. How many towns do we have around Elizabeth? If it's vicinity of Elizabeth, which town is the property located in? Does that make sense? So if it's just vicinity of, it's illegal. But if you say vicinity of Elizabeth, property is in Newark, now we know which side of Elizabeth it's close to. You guys got it? So that's what's so important about this. Make sure you put a bunch of stars. This is almost guaranteed state exam question. Do not write state exam question, okay? You can put stars, arrows, bubbles, whatever you want. If anybody ever grabs your book, goes to the real estate commission.
I logicized it like almost right away.
Okay. Even though I'm doing all this live, but. All right. Next, it says, if in an ad the broker refers to a membership in a multiple listing service or MLS, the full name of the ad of that service, must be spelled out. So if you're part of GSMLS, you have to spell out Garden State MLS. If you're NJMLS, it's New Jersey MLS. Okay, Central Jersey MLS, you must put Central Jersey instead of CJMLS. Unless, because there's exceptions, unless you don't have enough space for it. Some ads, like if you do on newspaper, you pay per lines or you pay per characters, right? So you might not be able to write the whole thing. At the bottom, it says an ad may not indiscriminately promise financing. All loan terms must contain the words, to a qualified buyer. Any sums mentioned in terms of payments or financing must be qualified by the word approximate or estimated. So every time we talk about financing, you're going to pay $1,500 for this house. Make sure you add 2 qualified buyers. Because everybody qualifies in different ways and your payment might be different than mine. Okay? Skip a paragraph that says any offer of a free item or service must be generally free, and it cannot be contingent upon any purchase or listing of property. A free offer Cannot be linked to a lottery, contest, game, or drawing. So if you guys, usually I say, if you guys ever hungry, look for open houses. Because open houses, they always offer coffee, right? Donuts, and other good stuff. Why? They offer food. It's not about seeing the house, it's about eating. Times are tough, you know? And if you want to take out your significant other, usually I say go for brokers' open houses. They have champagne, lobster, caviar.
Right.
It's true. That's it. And it's an open house. It already says come in. But you're not required, and they cannot force you, that's what it says, to sign anything. If it's free, it's free. And for me, of course. That's it. Now, talking about free. Any advertising of free appraisals is also prohibited. Although, offering a comparative market analysis or CMA is permissible. Quick question. I always ask the same thing. What is the difference between free and fee? Louder. You gotta stop listening to my stuff. The R, the problem is the R, it's one letter. Everybody knows free you don't pay and fee you pay. But when you guys are reading, if you read really fast, as some people do, you will skip the R and then you think for a fee. And guess what you're gonna answer? It's the wrong one. Got it? Don't worry, I'm gonna coach you throughout the next weeks on how to read, how to slow down and take your time reading the questions. At the bottom it says, any advertisement that mentions a specific commission rate or amount must also state that in New Jersey, commissions are 6%. No, 6%, that's what it says. Negotiable. Okay, you have to remember, commissions in New Jersey are negotiable. No set standard. You don't need to flip pages, we're almost done.
I feel you, bro.
You've been spacing out for like 3 hours. What do you mean, I feel? All right. Commission rebates, we already talked about commission rebates. You're going to write to a buyer. Right in front of the commission rebates. To a buyer. Okay? That's where you split part of your commission and give it to the buyer to help for closing costs, right? Very good. Make sure you highlight exactly as it is here. We already covered all this stuff. Again, it cannot be dependent on a lottery, contest, or a game. If I offer you a rebate, then I must generally offer for free, not depending on anything. Okay? You guys good? Can I move forward?
Yep.
Next, price fixing, we're going to talk about tomorrow, but I want to go to probation, suspension, and revocation. The commission may investigate complaints against the action of licensees or investigate on its own. It may place a license on probation, suspend the license, or revoke the license completely. Okay? In addition, fines for violations shall not be less than $250 and no more than $50,000. Fines no less than $250, no more than $50,000. Not bad, right? 3 properties sold, or maybe just 1, depending on the value, and you're good with this. Paid, right? Here's the thing. See, I use my first deals to set aside for licensing and fees, right? The second quarter is for penalties, and third, no, I'm just kidding. All right, before suspending or revoking a license, the commission gives the licensee at least 10 days advance notice of a hearing. What does that mean? Your license will be suspended on March 19th. You had until today, March 9th, to show up in front of the commission and say, hey, I'm sorry. It'll never happen again. Plead your case. So 10 days before suspension. You got it? Yes? Great. Next page, and you guys can breathe because there's a word there that's very important. Summary, right? We're almost there, almost there. Final lap. Ready? It says when a salesperson is disciplined, the broker's license may or may not be affected depending on whether the broker had guilty knowledge. What is guilty knowledge? He knew what was going on and did not attempt to stop it. All right? So here's an example. Jessica, you're my top producer. Guys, I introduce you to Jessica, my top producer. All right? All the way in the back. Top producer. For the past 10 years, she's been making me money. And if somebody's making me money, should I complain about it? Of course not. But there's a problem. She's not good with computers, wants everything on paper. And if you guys don't know, the contract is 14 pages. And for some reason, every single time she brings contracts, she forgets to sign one page. And every single time I ask Jessica, hey, come on. What's going on? You missed it again? Right? That happened with you?
That's exactly what.
Oh, I know all the stories. So here's the thing. Where's the signature? And guess what happens? Jessica tells me every single time the same story. The buyer is in the parking lot. For 10 years, my top producer, every single time, as a broker, should I suspect something? What do you think she's doing in that parking lot? Forgery. Right. And I should have known better because it was on her criminal record. 5 years and 1 day later, she got her license. And for 10 years, she's been forging documents. You guys got it? Should I have attempted to stop her? Should have I reprimanded her or even get rid of her? Absolutely. Here's the thing. If I have guilty knowledge, my license gets suspended as well. And if my license gets suspended, what happens to all your licenses? Say thank you, Jessica, for suspending all our licenses.
You can refer her to your competition.
I'm sorry?
Refer her to
Get rid of her and say go somewhere else?
your competition.
That's it. So they suspend their licenses. Right. I always pick on somebody for this. Anyway, but you're saying this, you went through this in 3 weeks? Wow. All right. So state exam, there's school and state exam, there's two potential answers. Okay? C and D say this exactly. Your license is suspended. D says you can associate with another broker. But the question is, what is the immediate consequence if my license gets suspended? Yours is suspended as well. That's the immediate consequence. Therefore, the correct answer is suspension immediately. Or you have to cease all activities. That's another potential answer. Cease all activities related to brokerage. You got it? So you cannot sell, you cannot help anybody buy, you cannot prepare anything. You have to stop. You guys got it? Yes? And the answer. C. All right. Last thing. Violations. The License Act specifically mentions the following offenses that are subject to disciplinary action. We already covered some of these, or we're going to cover over the next couple of days. So study at home, okay? Yes? And their summary.
You told me since day one when I signed up.
All right. Don't worry about it. I got you. All right, here's something I want to address real quick. Make sure tomorrow when you come in, name tags everybody. Second thing, when you go home, not today, but tomorrow, if you have a chance, do review the material. Every day, at least 15 minutes a day. 15. You guys got it? Yes?
Yes.
Great. Have a good night.
What's your name, Ty?
They're always over there in the back. Sure.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you.